As the Ukraine conflict in 2021 entered its 17th and 18th days, the pursuit of a peaceful resolution remained a complex task, marred by ongoing violence, diplomatic efforts, and the pressing need to address the deepening humanitarian crisis. This article delves into the significant events of these critical days, examining the evolving dynamics of the conflict, international initiatives, and the path towards sustainable peace. Day 17: Renewed violence and tenuous ceasefire. On April 24, 2021, the 17th day of the conflict, renewed violence and a tenuous ceasefire posed significant challenges to the pursuit of peace. Renewed escalation. Despite attempts to uphold the ceasefire, clashes between Ukrainian forces and Russian-backed separatists escalated, resulting in increased casualties and further destruction. The renewed violence highlighted the fragility of the situation and the urgent need for sustained de-escalation measures. Diplomatic engagement. International diplomatic efforts continued, focusing on revitalizing negotiations and bridging gaps between conflicting parties. Regional and international actors intensified their engagement, leveraging their influence to encourage dialogue and create a conducive environment for conflict resolution. The emphasis was on the resumption of meaningful negotiations that addressed the root causes of the conflict. Humanitarian crisis deepens. The humanitarian crisis deepened as the conflict persisted, exacerbating the suffering of the civilian population. Displaced persons faced immense challenges, including limited access to basic necessities, healthcare, and safe shelter. Humanitarian organizations redoubled their efforts to provide aid, medical assistance, and psychosocial support, but the scale of the crisis necessitated greater international support and resources. Day 18: International pressure and ongoing negotiations. On April 25, 2021, the 18th day of the conflict, international pressure and ongoing negotiations played crucial roles in the pursuit of a peaceful resolution. International pressure. The international community continued to exert pressure on conflicting parties to uphold the ceasefire and engage in meaningful dialogue. Calls for de-escalation, adherence to international law, and respect for Ukraine's sovereignty were reiterated by regional and international actors. The imposition of sanctions and economic pressure remained as tools to influence behavior and encourage conflict resolution. Negotiation efforts. Diplomatic negotiations persisted, despite the challenges, as mediators and envoys from international organizations worked to bring conflicting parties to the negotiating table. Efforts were made to address the underlying causes of the conflict, including issues of territorial control, political representation, and minority rights. The aim was to establish a framework for sustainable peace and stability. Long-term reconstruction and reconciliation. Amid the ongoing conflict, discussions were initiated on long-term reconstruction and reconciliation. Rebuilding infrastructure, restoring governance structures, and fostering social cohesion were paramount for a post-conflict Ukraine. The involvement of international financial institutions, regional partners, and civil society organizations played a vital role in supporting the country's recovery and rebuilding efforts. Conclusion. Days 17 and 18 of the Ukraine conflict in 2021 demonstrated the persistent challenges faced in the pursuit of a peaceful resolution. Renewed violence, a tenuous ceasefire, and the deepening humanitarian crisis underscored the urgency of de-escalation, dialogue, and international support. To achieve sustainable peace, all parties must demonstrate a genuine commitment to resolving the conflict through peaceful means. The international community's continued engagement, diplomatic efforts, and provision of humanitarian aid are critical in creating an environment conducive to negotiations and supporting the affected population. Resolving the Ukraine conflict requires inclusive negotiations that address the root causes of the conflict, encompassing political, economic, and social dimensions. The establishment of a lasting peace necessitates rebuilding trust, promoting reconciliation, and ensuring the rights and security of all individuals. The path to sustainable peace in Ukraine requires a collective effort, with the international community playing a crucial role in supporting negotiations, providing humanitarian aid, and facilitating long-term reconstruction and reconciliation. Only through genuine dialogue, shared commitments, and sustained cooperation can the Ukraine conflict be resolved, bringing an end to the suffering of the Ukrainian people and fostering a future of peace and prosperity.